Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Shipman and Matt Foreman. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I love season 2. We're having a great little preseason here. Started off with the Brigade. Last week was Norden, just Norden. Now it's Vanguard. Is it just Vanguard, or is it the Vanguard, or is it the Pride Vanguard? I don't know. But guess what? That's why you came here to find out. You're going to find out where they came up with this. What is a Vanguard, and why are they guarding vans? I don't know. We're going to find all of this out today here on FCC Supporters Square. So I'm hoping you're staying warm. Today is a day where apparently all snow will break out. I have no idea. It looks like in 3 days it's going to be 102. So who knows what it's going to be. But for right now, we're going to be where if you're cold, stay warm and listen to the podcast. And if you're hot, stay cool and listen to this podcast. Either way, you win. So, hey, hi, everybody. So go ahead and introduce yourselves over there, people who don't know you. I could, but go ahead.
All right, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Tom.
It's not Elizabeth. There's a different Elizabeth. But she couldn't make it today.
Yeah, she's
She's here in spirit.
Yeah, here in spirit.
So, before we begin, there's really not a whole lot of move. Brandon Vasquez signed with Monterey. I think that really happened late last week. And there's some rumors of this guy or that guy. And do we have money? What are your feelings so far this preseason?
Oh, Baji just left. That just broke earlier today, I think.
Yeah, he signed for a team in the Turkish league, it looks like.
So
I caught on X right before getting on here. So that's a little sad. We love Dom. Solid dude, friend of the Vanguard. But probably most excited to get Miles Robinson in and get him with the team. I mean, I'm glad he's with the national team right now. Hopefully after Saturday's friendly, he gets to get back with the club so we can start getting ready for what is it? What do we call it now? CCC?
Yeah.
Or
CCC,
whatever.
Yeah. CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Champions Cup, right? Yeah.
It's a long name.
That is way too long.
Yeah, it sucks to see Dom leave. I'm actually a little more hurt about that than Vasquez, to be honest. I guess because Vasquez was a little more expected. We all knew that was going to happen about a year ago. But yeah, it kind of sucks to see Dom leave, and he did a lot for the community. He's a good guy, so both of those guys now gone, and Barriel is still being talked about. So hopefully it's not to the summer window, and we brought his boy, or we're talking about bringing his boy from Argentina over, help fill that role. Well, yeah, keep him as long as possible. I know we talked about that in the last podcast. Just try to hold on to these guys as long as possible. Try to keep that core together, because we were watching a game earlier, and it's just like a lot of those guys aren't here anymore. So it's kind of sad.
So we did sign Corey Beard. I don't know much about him. I know that Houston liked him, I guess.
I guess
he's not a Vasquez replacement, but he's probably a Badgie replacement.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And from what I understand is that he can play 9 to give Lucho a break for those games where yellow card accumulation or just tired. Right, we can give him a break and have somebody play the 9, not at his level, but at least well. So that means we definitely need somebody up front. We don't have a central defender. Well, we have a defender, but we don't have a midfielder. So we don't have a Moreno. We don't have Arias. We don't have Barriel for long. But if he brings his boy, and I did see it on X this week that there was a 22-year-old blonde winger or wingback, looks pretty much like Barriel. Can you imagine having, if he was like a right wing back? So he plays on the right, Barriel plays on the left for at least half a season. That would be we'd be confused with the Argentine twins or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The Bash brothers.
Fingers crossed. Lucho's new dyed hair helps him connect like he and Barrial used to connect.
Yeah, with their blonde hair. Yeah.
Exactly. Let that Argentine connection start working through the hair.
Yeah, we got a pipeline through Argentina. Hey, let's keep exploiting that. No lie. Keep bringing them in.
Oh, so when are you going to get your hair frosted, Aaron?
Oh, no. No, this is as far as I go.
You look like you're halfway between a haircut or something. It's like your hair is a little long and a little short, but you can't figure out whether you want it to be long or short.
Hey, a little bit of both, you know?
Yep.
What's wrong with that?
Needs a little frost on the tips, maybe at least.
Maybe. We'll see. It depends on how well we do, you know? Maybe
they're bringing back all these old styles. Why not bring back the frosted tips?
There you go.
M or something. I don't know.
And Tom is sporting, for those people who are listening to this on Spotify. Tom is sporting is what I would consider the Matt Warman starter kit. It's getting there. It's getting close.
I try to cut back a little here on the sides.
Yeah.
Just to keep my ears cool and let things breathe a little bit, but I'm kind of letting it grow out now that it's so cold this time of year. So
smart.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be freezing those first couple of games.
I'm not looking forward to that the temps on February 25th. Yeah. I can only imagine.
Or 3 days later, or the 28th.
Or we play them on the 28th, right?
Which is my birthday. Just want to put that out there.
Well, happy early birthday.
Yeah, I've got a game on my birthday. Finally.
I've got a game later coming up on my birthday in May, and I'll be
in the Bailey. No excuses.
I have no idea because it's a very important birthday, so I have no idea where I'm gonna be.
In the Bailey.
Yeah, well, if you put me in Bailey, I'll probably be there. That would be an epic birthday, I think. So let's get on with No and SG. This is our little preseason piece before we actually get into the season. So we have a few more weeks before we do that. But let's talk about the Vanguard. So were you guys in separate SGs? Were you in the same SGs? Tell us about how the Vanguard got its start.
Well, yeah, I think it was a collection of us, just kind of random, honestly. And we just started hanging out in the front row. We knew each other. We hung out before, but when we moved to TQL, we were all just in the front row. We're like, we don't want to be anywhere else. We don't care about, how far down the pitch you can see. We want to be front row. We want to see all that right up in our faces. Give the other team's goalie crap, which we have done amazing, by the way. They love it too. And then also pump up our goalie. And then, when they got the corners, they're like, I don't know, 5 feet away from us. They can hear us. And I know they can, no matter how loud the Bailey is. They can hear us. I love it.
Especially on that Olympico from Acosta this last season.
Yes.
That he could hear us chirping in his ear.
Yes. They love it though. But yeah, so it was kind of a joke at first. From what I remember, we're just like, maybe we'll start our own SG just because we're the front line. We're in the nobody else is here. It's just us because we weren't very good back then. I don't know if you remember that. So there was nobody else there. It was us. That's what made us get so close because we were the only not casual, but constant people showing up every game. Didn't matter how bad we were. It didn't matter the outcome. We were there. That's why we came together and we just kind of formed a family. And I don't know if you if you have anything else to say.
No. I mean, I personally was a member of just about every SG, right? The brigade, even dating back to the old days. Before they were the brigade, right? The Pride, out with the Dienenstadt and the Germans, Norden when they became a thing. Myself and my brother-in-law Alex Nicholson started Pride 812, which was a satellite branch at one point for folks that lived in Southeast Indiana and attended FCC games. And eventually that kind of folded, and especially as I lived up in northern Ohio, which is how I got to know the Norden. And so anyway, I just float around and go to the different pre-games and, stopping at this place, stopping at that place. I mean, I remember running into you at Top Cats.
Yes, old school. Yes.
And
the sticky floors.
Exactly, sticking to the floors there. And even before that, when it was ladder, I can't even remember the Brigade's old hangout, the name of that place right across the street.
Easy.
Yes. Hangover Easy. That place had amazing brunch.
Yeah.
Amazing brunch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sure.
It's just we've all been showing up. We've all been part of that Bailey culture. At Nippert, we were kind of in the front area there, off to the left a little bit. Actually, I think Alex and Devin were always kind of in the front row, but Alex and I would kind of be behind. Once in a while, we'd bump into Elizabeth there. Aaron got there kind of late.
Yeah,
Nippert.
I did. 2018.
2018.
Late bloomer.
Yep. And we'd run into you and Eddie.
Yep.
And anyway, we always bumped into each other, and we were always kind of in that same general area, even back at Nippert. And after a while, especially being at TQL, and after all the spoons, we were some of, we were still there in the Bailey, but we were some of the only ones there in the Bailey.
It was very empty at times. So
And
we needed each other to lean on, though. That's the thing. That's why we got so close together.
Yep. And so, I think at the beginning of the 2023 season is when we actually started calling ourselves the Vanguard. We kicked around ideas for a while and argued and go
friendly arguing.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got
Family
6
arguing.
different opinions,
sometimes
it can be a little tricky to nail the name or nail the slogan on the scarf or whatever.
Definitely a social experiment for sure.
Yeah,
it's fun.
But
so how did you settle on Vanguard as opposed to First Line?
We really
too close to the fifth line. That's why
what I'm saying. It's like you guys
we want to respect the other SGs and try to come up with something, original. We did really like the idea of tying it in with the concept of the Bailey. So like the Vanguard's supposed to be that front line of an attack, or the front line of your defense. And with us being in the first row, we kind of were kicking around a lot of different ideas, but we kept kind of coming back to this front line idea. And we already knew about the fifth line, so exactly, we didn't want to step on their toes. And that's why we ended up with the Vanguard.
They might have sued us, it's too close to that. They don't want any legal
guys. I don't think they know how to spell sue.
Those guys are cool. Those guys are
they're
awesome.
They're very, very cool. They're very helpful.
Love those guys.
We'll be talking to those guys next week.
Wonderful.
Good.
Spoiler alert. So
I won't tell nobody.
So I want to get into something that's very particular for you and your group that people probably don't know but might be interested in. The whole idea. So you were in the first row when there were wooden spoons. Now last year we weren't wooden spoons. We were very much the opposite.
Yeah.
So when nobody shows up, it's easy to be in the front row. How do you keep your front row? How do you shoo out people who are trying to get in the front row? Because this guy doesn't have to worry about it.
Being in the front row means you always have a spot.
You guys aren't doing this necessarily for TV. I do know this. I know these guys personally. I can vouch for that. They're not here on TV. They've been vocal supporters for some time, and as you were finding out. But they were there when nobody was there, and nobody cared to be in the front row because nobody wanted to be on TV with a team that was terrible. But you guys are there. So now you've got a whole bunch of other people, college kids, young kids, people who just want to be on TV and be in that shot. So how do you, I don't want to say manage, because that's not true, because you don't have a right to that first row, correct? So tell me how this works.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect this guy at all, his game day experience. Aaron is always on the march, representing the Vanguard in the march, being loud and bringing the noise there. But most of the time, the other 4 or 5 of us get to the stadium when the gates open. because they do have the middle section gated off. We are able to go down one aisle and we kind of hang out right at the end of the aisle there. And I mean, just hang out. There's some folks that are in the second row that always are there with me. We kind of split up so that we got a couple people on one side, a couple people on the other side, and we just sit, have a drink, be social. My kids hate it when they come. They're, Dad, when do we have to get there? I'm so bored. But I usually end up giving them my phone to play games on, and buying them like a icy or some kind of cotton candy or something.
Some sweet,
Yeah. And they bounce off the walls there for a little bit and have fun on the capo stand, because typically that's where we're standing right in front of. The security guys all know us. That's, they're always kind of moving around and making sure they're keeping the aisleways clear. And so we're on a first name basis with these guys. They joke around and laugh with the kids. About halfway through last season, I think it was Todd Carnes brought a bubble maker to one of the games, and my kids saw that, and the next week I had to have two bubble guns.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it started spreading, and the security guys usually come by and razz my kids about having the bubble guns, and they shoot them with the bubbles, and they have a great time. And so you get to have these relationships with the folks that like to get there early, with the security folks, with the knights, with all the different folks that are there helping with the pregame and keeping things organized and set up. A lot of times when we have TIFOs, I haven't got to a paint night yet. Aaron usually is representing us there. I did get to go help a couple times practice doing the riggings. And I obviously the Vanguard is always helping with
thank you.
Yeah,
I can make it.
all the Vanguard is always helping with the TIFOs, helping coordinate when that goes up. Don't punch the TIFO, keeping the bottom from flailing all over. Somebody's got to actually hold on to it there and keep it from flying away. It's just getting involved with those types of things, and people are used to seeing you there. So when random folks show up, everybody's like, oh, you just want a picture, or what are you here for? These spots are usually filled, guy. You need to, slide over to the side, or maybe up or down a row. And we really don't have problems.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's definitely two ways to look at this. And I've had issues both ways. I've had new people come in and just be open to experience, and some of them are the new guys that are actually part of the Vanguard.
Yeah.
So it's great if that they're open. And then there's other ones that I've dealt with that are not understanding of how things work.
I've seen that side of you, Aaron.
Well, you know what?
I've had to intervene. I've had to intervene once or twice after a match.
Well, it was really bad during the Miami, and I know we've had that conversation before. Like, I'm up on the railings. Everybody knows that's what I do. And some guys behind me were not used to that. They're like, we can't see him. Like, I've done this for 3 years. Like, that's not changing. I'm not coming down for you. So now I don't mind if new people come, because that's how the sport grows. That's how we grow this fan base and grow this family. We don't have problems accepting people, but you also have to understand what you're getting into. You also have to know what you're really doing there. We're not there to watch. That's not what the Bailey does. We support. We're supporter groups. There is a difference. I'm not saying people in the other parts of the stadium don't support it. I'm just saying that is our job in the Bailey, is to let them know that we got their back regardless. We are loud, we are proud, and we're there for 90 minutes plus. Okay. So, and we all do it differently. Me, I got to be up on the railings. It's just my position now. So
if you haven't seen that, you're on billboards everywhere and websites and all that fun stuff. But look, I've been to the Vanguard space. When I'm at the brigade, I'm usually talking to the brigade people, but I'm not sitting with them usually when I'm in the brigade, because I don't do it but a couple of times this season. I have to just keep my hand in there. But when I do, you guys are very gracious to say, come hang with us.
Yeah.
All the time.
Aaron is what, about 5'7"? I don't want to short or
Shorty.
lengthen you.
No, you're good. Yeah. Can't get me much shorter, right?
Well, it's about that. But he
Yeah.
puts one leg, and it's probably a good 2 feet wide,
Yeah.
maybe 3, close to 3, because that's what people walk through. He's got 1 foot on one side of the rails and the other foot on the other side of the rails, and he is there for 90 minutes. Now, I can tell you this because I was next to him. I am 6'4". I put my 1 foot on the rail, the other foot on the rail, and I was up and I was like, oh, this is cool. And after about 5 minutes, I'm like, you know what? I can stand and do this. I don't need to do this. But he does it from moment one through even parts of halftime at times. I've seen him just sit there like, hey, can somebody give me a drink? I'm stuck here or whatever. Not really
Yes.
stuck, but
My legs are locked.
Thank you, everybody who does that. Thank you. And Jimmy the beer guy, gotta give him props.
Love Jimmy.
He's a great guy, and he always takes care of me. He takes care of us as Vanguards, especially because we're right in the middle, so it's hard for us to get to him. And he always makes sure that we're good to go.
He's come to us.
He has. Jimmy, you're a great guy. I love you, man.
Yep, absolutely.
Whenever he sees me, he always comes over. We get a picture together. He's like, so it's always Jimmy the beer guy is an awesome dude. He's been there since the Nippert days. So
He was there before me.
And he represents all the Cincinnati sports. He's there most of all those games. So support that guy. I don't buy if he's working, I don't buy from anybody else.
The thing I respect the most about Jimmy is every year when I go up to that place up north, he is always there. He gets his vendor license for lower.com, and then he gets our section. He requests our away section every time. So even when we're up in hell dealing with that crap,
he's our angel.
Jimmy the guy's got us covered on drinks.
I have seen you and Eduardo buy and drink. I don't know if you remember it, but I know that you guys were there. I was next to you a couple of times.
Physically, right? We're physically there.
Those road trips to Columbus get pretty intense.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's my wife has gone to a couple of them, but since the results have been what they've been, she's like, I don't think I'm going to go this year.
Yeah. The beer helps.
It definitely helps.
I have to admit, I ducked out early this year. It was painful.
I did too, but it wasn't my choice.
Yes, you had a different reason for why you left early. We're not going to
get into that.
No, get into that. It's another podcast.
Fandoms yet. But he's not a hooligan. He's hooligan adjacent.
That's right. That's right.
That'll be my next kit.
Hooligan adjacent.
So how many members do you have currently in the Vanguard, and how do people want to said, you know what, I want to sit in the second row with these guys. They look like awesome dudes.
Come on.
How do people get a hold of you, and how many people do you have in your group?
Well, I just want to say, as long as you come ready to cheer, be loud. I don't care if you don't know the words. You'll learn that. Just keep coming. Just bring the energy. Have fun. That's basically what it all is. It's a way for all of us to release, kind of get away from real life. Just let loose a little bit. Bring that kind of energy. Just don't be We've all seen them too.
Yeah.
No, that's not what we're about. And
don't look at me when you do that.
That's what gets on my skin.
No, that's not me. That's clearly not me.
That's the main thing. And to be honest, we're not like necessarily like a supporters group that sells memberships or something, right? It's just kind of the 6 of us, right? And we all have our extended family, right? There's folks that Elizabeth brings. And kind of rotates through bringing different folks around, bringing people for the first time. I bring folks. I work for a German based company up in Mason, and we have folks come in all the time from Germany, and I bring them down to games and let them have that front row experience, and they always love it. By the end of
Met
it,
one of your
they're
friends,
singing
one of
the
your
chants.
coworkers in Austin. So yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Tristan is an honorary member,
Yeah.
right? He's actually back in Germany,
In Germany,
now.
yeah, I was like international here.
I shipped him one of these Vanguard scarves all the way back to Germany, so he has it up at his house.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
And we love sharing the experience with folks. We just, we sell the scarves. We think they're fun. All we're doing is using it to reload and refund and re-go again. I think we did like $20 or something like that for a scarf, which pretty much covers cost in some of the other fun, right? Because we're not talented enough to come up with this. We get help and support from folks with design ideas.
Well, Alex is pretty good about it. I mean,
yeah,
we got really talented people, but
the Alexes are pretty gifted.
Yeah.
Especially with the gift of gab, if you're talking about Nicholson.
Yeah.
Howard's a little more of the creative guy.
Yes.
He actually is the one that drew our logo.
Yeah.
With the shield and the V and the swords, he sketched that out on a pad. It was, I don't know, maybe the 50th or 60th different sketch.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
But we just try to have fun. We're talking about, our scarf. We got together last weekend or just this weekend, and are talking about this year's scarf and possibly doing a second one.
Yeah.
So we're getting excited. We're getting geared up. We want to love seeing the Vanguard scarves all around the Bailey and all around the stadium. We got them to a couple players.
Yes.
So it was really cool. Yep, Birding's got one. It was really cool in the MVP video with Lucho. They're in this big hall and you can see this giant wall of scarves. Of course, I paused it and found ours. It was fantastic. Those kinds of things are just fun. And when you got a scarf addiction, like I kind of do everywhere.
Yeah, we all do.
It's fun to have something to call your own and to put your touch on and have fun with. So we just, we do it for the love of the game, if you will. And just really like to share that experience with as many people as we can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, he said everything. That's basically what we do. That's why I think it was so enticing for the six of us to just like do something. We are all part of pretty much all of the supporter groups. But we're like, well, why don't we do something for ourselves? Just to call our own almost. It's a home now. The Vanguard is a home for us. And of course the doors are always open.
And that's what we have. I have two shout outs for you guys. Two shout outs. The No and SG series was inspired by you. Now, I do know every member of the Vanguard. A lot of them were once in the brigade or a brigade.
Still are.
And they still are.
I think I still got to put my order in to get the shirt, right? Or did I miss?
No, that's Diana's dad for the shirt, or Pride for the shirt. I don't know. Okay. It's silly season for the SGs where everybody's getting their scarves out.
Yep.
But you guys, I was walking to wherever I needed to go, and you guys started coming down in mass going, well, we're going over to Washington Park. By the way, we decided that you can interview us. And I said, I was like, okay. I didn't know I needed your approval, but okay. And I went, okay, well, how am I going to do this? I couldn't do all of you at once. I'd like to interview, one at a time, and we'll do that probably later this season. And I said, you know what? They're a whole SG. Maybe in the off season we could do this SG. So your offhanded remark became this series. The second shout out is and talking about welcoming and what they do on the first and second row. My daughter came in from New York with like 8 people. She told like 2 people, like, oh, I'm going to go to the soccer match and we're going to sit in the Bailey and put on paints. They're all creatives up and they're like, yeah, we're gonna sing and wear makeup. And they all went like, yeah, let's do that. And so 2 turned into 10, and I turned to you, Aaron, and you said, I got you covered. And they had an amazing time with your help. So shout out to Vanguard and of course Aaron for making sure that things when you've got a new group of people, particularly from out of town, you want to make sure that and they're sitting in the Bailey that things go right, because how people can be about their spots and
very much so. Kind of like where we're at. That's part of the like we that is our home now. That's ours.
So, are you ever planned a chant off with Fifth Line, since they're a little bit higher up and they've got the drums behind them?
It's always a friendly competition. We're always louder, so it's okay.
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to Josh next week and find out what he thinks about it.
I'll tell him myself. Can you do like phone a friend and I'll just start talking?
Well, we'll see what we can do. I think Josh likes his time on the podcast as well.
Oh, I don't want to mess with his
time. So any final remarks before we head out?
Just the Vanguard usually is pre-gaming. You'll catch Aaron up at Stillhouse, right?
Yeah,
a lot of times. Because he loves to do the whole march.
And they got cornhole there, so it gives me something to do.
Yep. For us lazier folks that like to get down and get our spots kind of hovered over, we like to kick it over at the Symphony with Norden. We usually are posted up in the summertime back in the parlor room, because there's a sweet little AC unit that is in that little room. And but otherwise we're usually out in the garden chilling and just mingling with folks. We always love the food they put on there. They usually have a little buffet out. The Grainworks guys are usually out with their van serving up drafts, and just have a great time. It's nice that we can always sneak over to Washington Park, check out what the club's got going on, and see what other fun's going on there at Washington Park. And then we usually cut into the stadium when the gates open. So
thank you for that, by the way, because you always save me a spot.
So
get to go on a march.
I usually hook up with Aaron at Washington Park. Occasionally I see him in the march, but usually he is already there, or maybe you're further down the march.
The other side of the march. Yeah, we're just on opposite sides.
So then we usually get together and do our crowd control. That's kind of what I have to. I have a job. That's the thing about the marches. I have a job.
Sure responsibility.
Hold things up and all that kind of fun stuff.
So. Right. Yeah.
But we do enjoy hosting folks. I love a good excuse to leave everybody else to guard my spot and take a first timer, or a group of kids on the march. Usually we'll stop in several spots depending on who it is, right? There's been a lot of times where we've gone over to Taft, because I've had some buddies that like to do some gambling, and they like to do that before the game, and we like to hang out with you guys. We'll have to find a new spot, I guess.
I know, I was gonna say
it's coming. We've got it narrowed down to I can't say
we can't break it here,
yet, but we have it narrowed down. I think it's pretty close, but you'll if you watch the podcast probably next week, we'll probably have announcement by then. So
we'll see you there at some point.
Yes.
But definitely visit.
We're homeless currently, but we're going to find a home. So we're running out of time here. I just want to say thank you guys for showing up, showing people what the front row of the Bailey means to you, and what it means that it's not just I picked it or whatever. There's a reason behind it, and I think you've given some of the fans if they want to join an SG and you want to be a hardcore fan, these are the people you want to hang out with. They are the most fun people to hang out with. I can tell you that much.
The big thing is to just find someone, find a group of folks that you can get along with, support their SG. Everybody's super welcoming. That's one thing about us in Cincinnati. Everybody always is willing to welcome you with open arms, and sample them all.
There's no wrong answers when it comes to being a fan of FC Cincinnati. You're going to meet fine people everywhere.
Yeah, we're all there to support the same team. That's what it's all about.
Yep,
we're there to support.
Beer.
Yeah, beer. When they told me there'd be beer and yelling, I said, "Where do I
Come on.
sign?"
Yeah, where do you go as an adult? You know, like
I've
where
been
do you
doing that
go to
before
do that?
FC Cincinnati was even built. I was yelling and drinking beer for a lot longer than 2016.
It's just it's encouraged here,
Yeah.
right? That's
It
why the
is.
Baylor's so
Yeah,
great.
It's a
now I'm just
healthy
one of
release
the
at this
crowd. That's why
point.
I'm
Very healthy. It's
a
very
minor
therapeutic.
minor person here. So all right. Tom, Aaron, thank you so much for joining me at on the podcast and No NSG. We will see you next week with the fifth line, Josh and his crew, and we're going to find out who is really the loudest in the Central Bailey area next week. So thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you next week on FCC Supporter Square. Thank you for listening to FCC Supporter Square. Your hosts are Mark Chapin and Matt Warner. If you'd like to be a guest, please contact us at fcc.supp.square@gmail.com. The intro song was Living Inside My Brain by the Stone Bunnies. The exit song was Awesome Sauce, also by the Stone Bunnies. Thank you for listening.